Greetings, this is Paul the Poke from paulthepoke.com. Today's topic, Millennial Kingdom, access to wealth. Now, future Millennial Kingdom with Jesus in charge is going to have abundant food and abundant economic prosperity. Somebody is going to have to plant, harvest, clean, package, distribute, and prepare all of this food. So finding work will not be a problem. And just based on the scripture references, it appears agriculture and related industry are going to play a significant role in this time. One thing to remember, that during the Millennial Kingdom, scripture points to people living longer lives with families being much larger. So there are going to be a lot of people to feed, and they're going to be living a lot longer. Population will explode, and there are even some references that people will start living hundreds of years again. I mean, even to the point that someone is deemed to be, quote, cursed if they live only 100 years. The scripture reference is Isaiah 30, verse 23. Then he will give you rain for the seed which you will sow in the ground, and bread from the yield of the ground, and it will be rich and plenteous. On that day your livestock will graze in a roomy pasture. And the Hebrew word for bread in the passage is lechem, and it just means grain, food, or bread per Strong's Concordance. Now, again, per the verse, when you break it down in the Hebrew, one farmer will plant, many will harvest the crop. So the idea is abundance, and we'll get into that in much more detail in future discussions on the Millennial Kingdom and in regards to crops and so forth. But, you know, this is just economics 101. Grain will be stored, then transported for production, for food and bread. Farm equipment will have to be purchased, roads built, construction, energy use and its distribution, bakeries, bakers, grocery stores. I mean, you get the idea. And I mean, this is going to be the result of ridiculous amounts of production from the grain fields and just harvests in general, whether it's fruits, vegetables, grains, etc. The yield of the ground, and it will be rich and plenteous. The Hebrew word for rich, it's an adjective, dashin. It means a substitute for fat or vigorous. Plenteous or shaman, it means fat, rich, robust. So this is going to be a series of bumper crops is the idea. I mean, these are going to be, quote, fat crops. This is not P-H-A-T fat, but F-A-T fat and abundant fat. Livestock will graze in roomy pastures, so the livestock will have plenty of room to go eat, and there will be lots of grass. That's not going to be a problem. So you got cattle, sheep, goats, bountiful grains and grasses to feed on. Second scripture reference will be Jeremiah 31, verse 12. They will come and shout for joy on the height of Zion, and they will be radiant over the bounty of the Lord, over the grain and the new wine and the oil, and over the young of the flock and the herd. They will never languish again. You know, and the people in this verse of Israel are described as radiant or nahar. And it means like they will shine, they will beam, they will burn with excitement because of the bounty of the goods, you know, and the goods, you know, another way that could be translated would be fairness, beauty, joy, prosperity that comes from the Lord as a source. He's the one that's going to make it happen. And I mean, this stuff is the best. It's not only abundant in amount, but it's good-looking produce, good-looking crops, etc. And again, just look at the verses, or look at the crops listed in the verse. I mean, you got grapes, you got grains. Typically in Israel, barley and wheat are the primary grain crops in Israel. Olives and its oil. Think about how many olives it takes to make oil. I mean, so there are going to be tons of olives on the trees, tons of fruit on the trees, and herds of wealthy, healthy animals with their offspring. And lastly, the people of Israel and those who inhabit the Millennial Kingdom, their life will be like a watered garden. And it's the same word in the Hebrew for garden that's used for the Garden of Eden. And that's, in Genesis, the garden was created perfect by God. And the ground is it's described as saturated, so it's a water-saturated garden. This place is not struggling for hydration. There's going to be plenty of water to make all of this stuff grow. And you think about that now in comparison to the parched desert that is Israel in modern day 21st century. Things are going to change, and life is going to look quite different from an economic standpoint, agricultural standpoint, productivity standpoint in the Millennial Kingdom. So if you're interested in these topics, please feel free to check out paulthepoke.com, keyword Millennial Kingdom, prosperity, economics. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.